Hey guys, just a quick video tonight. So you can see I'm nearing the completion on this chest of drawers, and I need a break from cutting half blind dovetails. I'm sick of it, so need to just do a couple other things. I threw some finish on there, and now I'm doing drawer stops. So this is a trick I've seen from Rob Cosman primarily. So these are half blind drawers, but you can see it almost fully extends and it catches at the end. And there's a secret. There's a little piece of wood in here that can rotate so that it can slip into this little groove in the back, allowing the drawer to go in and out. And once it's past that, you just turn it sideways and it stops it on the way in so that you get your flush reveal or whatever reveal you want. And then it also acts as a backstop because it catches everything to the side of those grooves. Pretty low tech, just takes one screw and a piece of scrap. So if you want to get rid of a little bit of scrap when you're doing drawers, this is a good way. So here's one that I haven't done yet. So you can see I've got my half blinds there and no groove here. So I'll take you to the bench and I'll show you how to cut one of these. They're pretty simple, very quick. So I'll show you that real quick. All right, so we have a small assortment of things going on here. Here's the drawer. First thing we're gonna do is find the center point. So this is 23.5. So if I just mark 12 from both directions, that'll get me pretty close. So here's about my halfway point. And I've just got an assortment of little sticks here, just some offcuts that I'm gonna get rid of. It doesn't really matter what size too much, but I'm just going to lay this on here and kind of give myself a rough parameter. This actually should be a little bit oversized so that you don't have to get it all perfect. So I'm gonna give myself an extra 1/4 inch for the overall size. And it works as long as this is wider than your hole, so that when it turns this way, it can slide on easily. When it goes this way, it has some meat to catch onto. Also, this box part I installed with screws. So the front is glued, the sides are glued to the front, but this is just installed with 2 screws from the sides. So if this ever gets torn up, I can always replace it. So that's important if you've got a functional piece like this where I don't want this piece of hard cherry to tear up my pine backboard at some point. If somebody pulls it too hard or something, I can always replace this pine board. So starting from here, what we're gonna do is catch the thickness of the little piece here and mark that depth. Thankfully, this is a rough and ready kind of part, so I'm just going to lay my saw on the line and cut down to that marking gauge line. Okay, there it is. Okay. And now I'm going to take a wide chisel and cut it like it's a mortise that's got reliefs. I want a chisel that's wide enough to catch basically the whole width. 3/4 pine, I'm going to use a 1-inch chisel. And starting from the middle, because we've got the relief lines at the ends, it's pretty easy to get close. I'm not going to cross the line. We'll use a router plane to finish it off at the end. So I'm just going to work one way until I get close to the bottom, and then I'll flip it over and work it the other way. close enough there. Should go even faster. All right, now I'm really close. I know my piece of wood can fit in there pretty easily. So now I'll take my router plane and match its depth of cut to the piece of wood. Doesn't have to be exact. And we'll just clean this up. And this isn't very critical, so I'm not too worried about going over the line. I think Rob Cosman probably cleans his up more, and you can be a little bit more decorative with this and make all the pieces look nice, but probably no one will ever even see this. So I'm just going to make it work. Full depth. So that's it for this piece. So before we move over to the other part, I want to find the center point on a little piece of wood, at least in the width, so that I can get it to work no matter which way it flips. So I'm just going to work my way up with my marking gauge till I get close. Okay, nailed it. Now I'll use my awl to give myself a place to set my drill bit into. There we go. This is a little bit of an oversized hole too, so it's not really all that critical. And I've got a screw here, and I'm just going to countersink it real quick. All right, next up, we're going to set our drawer into the cabinet, just barely, so that the front is still protruding, and we're just going to mark where those lines are to kind of give us a center point reference. Then we're going to take our drawer and get the thickness of the front so that we know how far back to set the piece. So I'll go find my center point reference and just mark how wide, or I'm sorry, how deep the toggle needs to go. So you can see that I have marked my center line from the front, so that kind of tells us where that profile is going to be. I don't have to get it exactly right, but we also have this depth line. So when I put this piece of wood in here, it needs to ride on that line well so that we get a nice reveal on the front. And then I just need to adjust it horizontally so that the lines, the screw hole lines up with that center line. So while I've got this here, I'm going to take an awl and just give myself a starting point for my screw. There we go. I don't want to miss. Now using a right angle guide, a right angle drill attachment, I'll set my screw in there and get it started. Now we'll put it in place with the piece of wood. And this time around, I'll just get it where it's kind of close, probably closer than that. There we go. You don't want too much slop, but you don't want it to spin like a propeller. So now, when I slide it like that, we can get our drawer in there, and then when we slide it like we toggle it to the side, it should lock everything in. Okay, so taking our toggle stop, if you set it to the forward facing position, you should be able to slide your drawer in there nicely with no resistance, because we left plenty of room. And then we'll turn it to its side position, and that will provide it with a backstop. And you might have to set some other parameters on the sides to make sure that the reveal is so that the drawer can't twist if you have it with any slop. But when we pull out, that should also provide a stop to prevent it from pulling out of the drawer unless you come back and turn the toggle again. So really simple, good use of some of your scrap from this very project. And you can make it a little bit fancier if you want to dress up the wood, but this works just fine without much effort. So hope you enjoy and hope you try it. It's pretty convenient, and of course it's basically free because it's just a screw and some of what you were throwing away. So, all right, thank you for joining me. Have a good day. Subscribe if you haven't. Like the video. Thanks. Bye.